It expounds on Genesis 6 verses 1 through 4.
In these scrolls, we find biblical manuscripts, as well as a treasure trove of documents that we had never seen before.
For centuries, the Dead Sea has been a place of mystery, a lifeless, salty expanse holding secrets of ancient times. However, recent baffling discoveries have shocked the world, leaving Christians around the globe in awe. Against all odds, strange new life has emerged in these hostile waters, sparking questions of whether divine prophecy is fulfilled. But are we witnessing a miracle foretold in the Bible? Could this be a powerful sign meant for today's world? Join us as we explore the strange transformation of the Dead Sea that astounded believers everywhere, unveiling the mystery of the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea is one of Earth's most surreal and unforgettable landscapes, a place where natural extremes come together to create something almost otherworldly. Known as the world's lowest point, it sits over 400 meters below sea level, nestled between Israel and Jordan, in a region that holds both geological marvels and a mystique rooted in ancient lore. The land here is as barren as it is beautiful, with a raw, desolate charm that leaves a lasting impression on all who visit. Yet this is a place where life cannot thrive. Its water holds around 10 times the salinity of regular oceans, making it a literal dead sea, inhospitable to fish, plants, or any typical aquatic life. This intense salt concentration not only defines the Dead Sea's character, but also contributes to the ghostly, almost post-apocalyptic ambience that surrounds it. Imagine a vast expanse where driftwood lies bleached white by the relentless sun, scattered along the shores like relics from another era. A sight both beautiful and eerie, evoking images of a deserted, silent ghost town in the form of a body of water. Beneath the surface of this seemingly calm, saline lake, an extraordinary and unsettling transformation is taking place. The shores of the Dead Sea are marked by a rapidly growing number of massive sinkholes, gaping cavities that appear as if from nowhere, reshaping the landscape with an unsettling beauty. These sinkholes, some large enough to swallow small buildings, are the result of an intricate natural process involving fresh water, salt, and the fragile layers of soil and silt. When fresh water seeps into the ground and encounters the thick salt deposits beneath the surface, it begins a gradual but unstoppable process of erosion. The salt dissolves and washes away, leaving behind enormous empty spaces. Over time, the ground above loses its stability and collapses, creating vast, sometimes deep holes that punctuate the shore with dramatic, sudden transformations. This phenomenon doesn't only occur along the shoreline. Some of these sinkholes are forming out of sight, hidden beneath the Dead Sea itself. These underwater sinkholes are evidence of the complex and active geological forces at work below. The water's extreme salinity makes the sea denser than usual, allowing people to float effortlessly on its surface. But it's also slowly reshaping the bed beneath, constantly shifting and eroding the salt deposits with surprising force. When fresh water flows into these newly formed cavities, it interacts with the residual minerals, creating pools that are uniquely tinted with vibrant shades of green, turquoise, and deep blue. These hues stand out dramatically against the otherwise stark, muted tones of the barren shoreline. This interplay of colors in an otherwise colorless landscape is striking, turning the Dead Sea into a canvas of contrasts where the forces of creation and destruction collide. The minerals left behind by the dissolved salt lend these sinkhole pools an ethereal glow, transforming them into hidden oases amidst the endless salt-covered land. This continuous formation of sinkholes, while fascinating, brings real challenges for the region. Communities near the Dead Sea face the constant risk of sinkhole collapse, which disrupts infrastructure, damages property, and can even lead to dangerous situations for locals and tourists. The sinkholes have also posed a challenge for conservation and tourism efforts, as they reshape the shoreline unpredictably, making some areas unstable and unsafe. While the phenomenon is natural, the impact of human activity, especially water diversion from the Jordan River that feeds the Dead Sea, accelerates this process. As the water level drops due to evaporation and limited replenishment, the surrounding land becomes more susceptible to the sinkhole effect, creating a dynamic yet perilous landscape. Yet, despite the dangers and the haunting silence of its shores, the Dead Sea captivates in a way few places can. It is a paradox of life and death, of beauty and desolation, offering a rare glimpse into the Earth's power to create and destroy simultaneously. Visitors to the Dead Sea are often left with an overwhelming sense of awe, a place that challenges the imagination and redefines beauty through barrenness. While lifeless, it is undeniably alive with geological activity, transforming continually in a process that may seem slow to the casual observer, but is, in geological terms, remarkably swift. In the wider context, these changes in the Dead Sea's landscape have also sparked curiosity and intrigue beyond science. For some, the sinkholes hold symbolic significance, almost like scars or symbols of prophecy in a region steeped in historical and religious significance. In a way, they serve as reminders of the delicate balance between human intervention and nature's resilience. The Dead Sea stands as a silent testament to this fragile equilibrium, both enchanting and humbling, a place that's as unsettling as it is awe-inspiring. There truly is nowhere else on Earth quite like it, where each element, the heat, the salt, the sinkholes, and the silence, comes together in a landscape that feels more like a surreal dream than a natural place. Here, the Dead Sea continues its quiet transformation, a hidden world shaped by forces far beyond human control, offering us a fleeting glimpse of nature's raw, unrelenting beauty. But could the Dead Sea's silent transformations, with its deepening sinkholes and haunting beauty, be more than geological phenomena? Is this desolate landscape slowly coming alive in unexpected ways? Stay with us to discover more. Life emerges amid the desolation. The shifting landscape around the Dead Sea is both awe-inspiring and unsettling. Once a popular destination for tourists drawn to its otherworldly salt formations, the Dead Sea's perimeter is now marred by a steadily increasing number of sinkholes. The ground beneath this ancient salt lake has become dangerously unstable, causing beaches and roads to close as these sudden depressions make the terrain hazardous for visitors and residents alike. For nearby communities and businesses, the frequency of these sinkholes presents a difficult dilemma, disrupting local economies once reliant on tourism. The danger has made new construction nearly impossible, as insurance companies have deemed the region too high risk to cover. Where vibrant resorts and bustling beaches once thrived, empty expanses now stand as testaments to nature's unpredictability. Yet, amidst these drastic challenges, an unexpected phenomenon is taking place. These sinkholes, initially regarded as perilous voids, are emerging as oases of life in the arid terrain surrounding the Dead Sea. What seemed destined to be merely a hazard has turned into a cradle of ecological resurgence. Around the edges of certain sinkholes, patches of greenery have begun to flourish, creating vibrant spots of vegetation in an otherwise stark landscape. This is remarkable, as the Dead Sea region is known for its extreme salt levels, which are nearly 10 times higher than typical ocean water, conditions traditionally believed to be fatal for most life forms. Adding to the intrigue, fish have been spotted in the waters of some sinkholes. Over time, as the salinity levels of these sinkholes decrease, the conditions become more suitable for various species. This is a striking contrast to the famously inhospitable waters of the Dead Sea itself, where the salt concentration is so intense that it prevents most life forms from surviving. Here, however, life is quietly defying expectations. The chirping of birds near these sinkholes suggests that they are becoming valuable stopovers for migratory species, hinting at a potential shift in the ecosystem. What was once desolation is now showing the first signs of a fragile yet remarkable renewal. This emergence of life speaks to nature's resilience and adaptability. Although the broader environment surrounding the Dead Sea remains harsh and forbidding, these small, life-filled pockets suggest a delicate dance between decay and rejuvenation, where nature is reasserting itself in unexpected ways. In some respects, the Dead Sea's very name and reputation as a dead body of water belies its underlying vitality. Even in such inhospitable surroundings, life is finding a way to gain a foothold. For centuries, the Dead Sea, a unique salt lake bordered by Israel, Palestine, and Jordan, has held a mystique rooted in its isolation and stark landscape. Historically, scientists believed that the extreme salinity of the Dead Sea, almost fatal for most living organisms, rendered it devoid of life. This assumption was challenged in 2011 when researchers found microbial life flourishing deep beneath the lake's surface. The discovery sent waves of excitement through the scientific community, sparking renewed interest in the mysteries of this ancient lake. Over the years, more reports surfaced about freshwater ponds forming along the Dead Sea's shorelines, ponds filled with fish and surrounded by lush vegetation. Such sightings align with ancient biblical prophecies, suggesting that the resurgence of life in this harsh environment might be more than just a scientific oddity. One of the most intriguing connections to these events lies in the prophecies from the book of Zechariah, which foretell a future where living water will flow from Jerusalem, with half of it reaching the Dead Sea and transforming it into a vibrant, life-sustaining body of water. The prophecy emphasizes that this transformation will occur across seasons, a perpetual source of life-giving water even in the heat of summer. Observers today see the current ecological changes as an eerie reflection of these age-old predictions, viewing the Dead Sea's slow but steady revitalization as an affirmation of the prophetic visions recorded centuries ago. Furthermore, the Book of Ezekiel offers a powerful vision of life returning to this area. The prophet describes a scene where fishermen stand along the Dead Sea's shore, casting their nets and catching an abundance of fish as diverse as those found in the Mediterranean Sea. This vivid prophecy resonates with contemporary sightings of fish within the sinkholes, as well as the vegetation flourishing around them. For those witnessing these changes, the symbolism of such developments is profound. The emergence of fresh water and the return of fish to the Dead Sea's edges bring to life Ezekiel's vision in a way that feels tangible and almost miraculous. What was once a barren wasteland is now slowly reawakening, offering a scene reminiscent of Ezekiel's words. Beyond prophecy, these changes carry a deep spiritual resonance for those who observe them. The sight of new plant life taking root in the Dead Sea's parched soil evokes a sense of wonder, a reminder of the area's sacred history and its pivotal role in ancient narratives. The very landscape that appears desolate and bleak is showing signs of rebirth, as if reclaiming its former vitality. Such transformations can evoke a profound connection to the past, linking the present-day landscape to its biblical legacy. Visitors who happen to catch a glimpse of these remarkable changes cannot help but feel the weight of history, combined with a palpable sense of spiritual renewal. The Dead Sea, which sits more than 400 meters below sea level, has long been enveloped in layers of salt, giving it an alien, otherworldly appearance. This desolate region, once lush and fertile according to ancient texts, is also linked to the biblical story of Sodom and Gomorrah, where, as described in Genesis, fire and brimstone transformed a well-watered plain into a barren desert. This account of divine judgment offers context for why any signs of life returning to this area feel so profound. Such changes stir a sense of hope, a suggestion that even in a place marked by punishment and desolation, nature can breathe new life. This unfolding story at the Dead Sea is an intersection of ancient history, prophecy, and modern scientific discovery. From a geological standpoint, the sinkholes are a product of natural processes. The constant depletion of water in the Dead Sea, primarily due to diversion from its tributary, the Jordan River, has led to drastic changes in the water table. As fresh water infiltrates underground salt layers, the salt dissolves, leaving cavities that eventually collapse and form sinkholes. These geological dynamics underscore the delicate balance between natural forces and human impact. But within these depressions, new ecosystems are taking root, creating miniature havens where the interplay between freshwater and saltwater supports life in ways previously thought impossible. The recent transformations around the Dead Sea are a powerful reminder of nature's adaptability and resilience. They invite us to reconsider what we know about life's potential, even in the harshest environments. For scientists, the phenomenon of life emerging in these sinkholes suggests that life can find a way even in the face of extreme adversity. For those who look to Scripture, the revival around the Dead Sea may be seen as evidence of divine intervention, a tangible representation of ancient prophecies. Whether viewed through a scientific lens or a spiritual one, The sight of green plants, chirping birds, and swimming fish in these sinkholes presents a moving image of renewal against all odds. In an era marked by environmental challenges, the story of the Dead Sea offers a glimmer of hope. Here, nature's resilience is on full display, reminding us that even when all seems lost, life has an incredible capacity for rebirth. For centuries, this salt-laden lake has been a symbol of desolation. Yet today, in the midst of geological upheaval, it is showing signs of transformation. These sinkholes, once symbols of instability and decay, are now filled with new life, painting a picture of quiet persistence and resilience. For those who witness this transformation, the Dead Sea no longer seems like a dead sea, but rather a testament to the enduring spirit of life, a reminder that renewal can spring from even the most unexpected places. Modern discoveries aligning with ancient texts. In 2010, a team of divers embarked on an incredible journey to explore the mysterious depths of the Dead Sea situated between Israel and Jordan. What they uncovered astounded scientists worldwide: a bustling, unseen ecosystem thriving in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Danny Ionescu, a marine microbiologist from Germany's Max Planck Institute, described the site as a fantastic hotspot for life, an unexpected oasis in this otherwise barren lake. During their dive, the team discovered several massive craters, each about 33 feet wide and 43 feet deep, spread across the lake's floor, lying 100 feet below the surface. To their amazement, these craters were coated with thin films and, in some areas, densely packed mats of previously unknown bacteria. These microbes flourished around jets of fresh water shooting up from underwater springs, a phenomenon long suspected due to strange ripples on the lake's surface but never before seen. Navigating the dark, murky water was a challenge. Divers had to rely on intuition and grit as they searched for sudden drops in the sea floor that might lead them to the springs. When you dip your head into one of these craters, you're blind, completely reliant on faith in your surroundings, Ionescu explained. But the reward was worth it. As the water cleared at the crater's base, the sight of fresh water plumes bursting from the ground was mesmerizing. Once, rivers like the Jordan fed fresh water into the Dead Sea, but without an outlet, water could only escape through evaporation, leaving behind dense deposits of salt. Over centuries, this process has made the Dead Sea nearly 10 times saltier than the ocean, creating conditions so harsh that most life cannot survive. Yet in this seemingly lifeless landscape, the discovery of thriving microbial communities was both baffling and awe-inspiring, a reminder of life's adaptability even in the most extreme settings. Despite the importance of these findings, the broader scientific community and media outlets have often overlooked this discovery, leaving it relatively unknown outside specialized fields. This oversight raises questions about how we perceive and report on environmental changes, especially in regions as historically and symbolically significant as the Dead Sea. For some, the discovery of life here is not only a scientific revelation, but a hint of something even more profound, aligning with ancient prophecies that foretold life returning to the Dead Sea. As these insights continue to unfold, they offer us a unique perspective on resilience, renewal, and the unfolding mysteries of our natural world. So could the discovery of thriving life in the Dead Sea's depths be a modern echo of ancient prophecies foretelling its revival? Let's dive deeper into our quest. Symbolic and spiritual significance. The Dead Sea, one of the saltiest bodies of water on Earth, has always carried a certain mystique. Its extreme salinity makes it nearly impossible for most forms of life to survive, earning it the name Dead Sea. This unique environment, set at the lowest point on Earth, has fascinated scientists, spiritual seekers, and travelers alike for centuries. Recently, however, the story of the Dead Sea has taken an unexpected and fascinating turn. The emergence of signs of life in its waters and around its shores has sparked conversations about the resilience of nature and the fulfillment of ancient prophecies. For many, the Dead Sea has long symbolized lifelessness, a place where no plants grow and no fish swim. But in recent years, changes in the environment have revealed that life may be more resilient than previously thought. In 2010, a research expedition uncovered evidence of microbial life within craters on the seafloor. surprising scientists who had assumed the conditions were too harsh for even microbes to survive. This discovery hinted at the possibility of renewal in an area that has symbolized barrenness for so long. A deeper, more personal side to this transformation came to light when B. Samantha Seagull, a Jewish American living in Jerusalem, stumbled upon something remarkable while walking along the Dead Sea's shoreline. As she wandered along the edges of the salty water, she spotted a small pond of fresh water with fish swimming inside. For Seagull, this sight was more than just unusual. It felt profoundly significant. Reflecting on ancient prophecies that spoke of life returning to the Dead Sea, Seagull began to feel that she was witnessing a powerful moment, a scene that echoed the words of Scripture. This wasn't merely a scientific discovery to her, it was a tangible, living fulfillment of ancient words, a sign of hope and renewal coming to life in a place long thought dead. Adding to her awe, Seagull also noticed a family of ducks near the pond, another unexpected sign of life in a region that most would consider barren. To her, this simple scene of fish and ducks thriving in an area traditionally viewed as lifeless illustrated a broader, beautiful narrative of restoration. She saw this as a modern manifestation of ancient prophecies that foretold the revival of the Dead Sea, symbolizing not only physical life but a spiritual resurgence. For many believers, the Dead Sea's unexpected revival serves as a reminder of the possibility of resurrection and renewal, mirroring the hope for restoration within their own lives and communities. Seagull's reflections on her experience went beyond just the remarkable sights she encountered. She saw the Dead Sea's unique characteristics as symbols of deeper spiritual truths. The saltiness of the water, so dense that it allows people to float effortlessly, became, in her eyes, a metaphor for divine support. She compared the Dead Sea's buoyancy to the sense of being upheld by God during difficult times. Just as people cannot sink in the Dead Sea's waters, Seagull felt that, similarly, God sustains us even when life seems heavy or challenging. This comforting parallel resonated with her and others who find themselves drawn to the Dead Sea's shores, offering them a reminder of divine presence and support during life's lowest points. The Dead Sea's incredible buoyancy has long been a source of fascination for visitors. Tourists come from all over the world to experience the sensation of floating effortlessly on the water's surface, lying back as if cradled by an invisible force. Some even bring books to read while they float or watch in wonder as a simple stick thrown into the water bobs along, resting on the glassy surface. This experience, unique to the Dead Sea, often leaves visitors with a sense of awe, a surreal reminder of the extraordinary qualities of this place and of nature's capacity to defy expectations. In many ways, the Dead Sea's revival is a testament to the resilience of life, even in the harshest environments. It challenges long-held assumptions and invites reflection on how we perceive change, especially in places rich with history and prophecy. The Dead Sea, once seen only as a symbol of death, is now becoming a symbol of hope, renewal, and the strength of life to flourish against all odds. Its transformation is not just a scientific curiosity, but an invitation to consider the deeper mysteries of existence, of life emerging from the depths of desolation and of faith that sustains through life's challenges. For those who visit, the Dead Sea's story is more than just a tale of environmental change. It is a living metaphor, a place where the natural world intersects with the spiritual, reminding us that even in the lowest places, there can be signs of hope and renewal. As we witness fish and plants returning to this unique landscape, the Dead Sea becomes not only a symbol of nature's resilience, but also a beacon of spiritual renewal, encouraging us all to believe in the possibility of restoration and new beginnings. The Dead Sea in Jewish and Christian traditions. The Dead Sea, famous for its extraordinary saltiness, has intrigued people for centuries. Its waters are so dense that they make floating effortless, a natural wonder noted by the Jewish historian Josephus during the Jewish revolt in 68 AD. In a fascinating experiment, Josephus tested the belief that drowning was impossible in the Dead Sea by tossing non-swimmers into its salty depths, and indeed, they floated without any effort. However, as anyone who has dipped into the Dead Sea knows, the water is far from comfortable if it touches the eyes or mouth, as its mineral-laden concentration can cause a sharp sting. Today, the Dead Sea is a popular destination for tourists seeking a unique, unforgettable experience. Visitors come from around the world to coat themselves in the black mud found along its shores, known for its high mineral content and reputed therapeutic properties. This mud ritual has become an enjoyable tradition, adding a playful and often photogenic aspect to the visit. The water's high salt levels make it impossible to sink, allowing visitors to recline on its surface and experience an almost surreal buoyancy. This rare sensation is due to the extreme salinity, which is about 34%, nearly 10 times saltier than typical ocean water, creating a dense environment that keeps people afloat. Over the years, the Dead Sea has been known by various names, each capturing its unique and sometimes eerie character. It has been called the Salt Sea, Eastern Sea, and even Devil's Sea, names reflecting both its geography and its peculiar otherworldly nature. This salty, lifeless sea has long symbolized desolation, but its surroundings were not always barren. According to biblical texts like Genesis, Deuteronomy, and Jeremiah, the region was once a lush and fertile area, likened to the Garden of Eden. However, divine judgment on the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, described in these texts, transformed this thriving landscape into a wasteland. The destruction, marked by fire and brimstone, forever altered the valley, creating the arid environment we see today. This ancient event has become symbolic of the consequences of moral decay, with the Dead Sea standing as a silent witness to the past. The surface of the Dead Sea is often shrouded in a thin, mysterious mist, a result of constant evaporation in the hot, dry climate. This mist can resemble smoke rising from the water, evoking the biblical account of Sodom's destruction in Genesis. In contemporary times, the Dead Sea remains a powerful symbol of divine judgment and a reminder of nature's stark transformations. Yet despite its lifeless appearance, scriptures and prophetic texts like those of Ezekiel and Zechariah hold a promise of renewal. According to these prophecies, during the millennial kingdom, a life-giving river will flow from Jerusalem's Temple Mount to the Dead Sea, transforming it from a desolate landscape to one brimming with life. Fishermen are foretold to cast their nets along its shores once again, hinting at a time when the waters may be restored, bringing hope and vitality to a place that has long embodied. But could the Dead Sea's haunting history and mysterious mist-laden surface offer insights for modern reflections on prophecy and faith? Let's take a final look at the Bible's prophecies. Contemporary reflections on prophecy and faith. The image of the Dead Sea, once lifeless and still springing back to life, is a powerful symbol of God's ability to restore even the most barren landscapes. Around 597 BC, the prophet Ezekiel, exiled in Babylon, recorded a vision in which he saw a river flowing from the temple in Jerusalem, winding its way down toward the Dead Sea. In Ezekiel 47, this river was not just water, it was a source of transformation, turning the salty, inhospitable Dead Sea into a fresh, vibrant ecosystem teeming with life. This vision wasn't just about a physical river, but represented a deep longing for restoration and hope, reflecting the yearning of the Jewish people to reconnect with their homeland and with God after years of exile. Ezekiel's description is vivid and inspiring. He saw the river flowing eastward through the Jordan Valley, called the Arabah, until it reached the Dead Sea. As the river emptied into the sea, the salty waters miraculously turned fresh. This freshening effect wasn't just symbolic. It transformed the sea into a fertile environment capable of supporting countless forms of life. As the river's waters spread, it created new life wherever it touched, and fish of every kind began to thrive, just like the species found in the Mediterranean Sea. Ezekiel envisioned fishermen standing along the shores of the Dead Sea, casting their nets from En-Gedi to En-Eglaim. Once desolate, the sea now supported an abundant array of fish, marking a revival that mirrored the people's hopes for their own future. This prophecy has fascinated people for centuries, but today it resonates more deeply as some see signs of its fulfillment in the modern revival of Israel itself. Once a small, struggling region, Israel's economy has grown dramatically in recent years. transforming the nation into a thriving center of culture, technology, and commerce on the world stage. Many believe that this resurgence reflects biblical promises of prosperity and restoration. Additionally, some Christians view Jesus as the awaited Messiah, who, according to prophecy, would bring spiritual renewal by giving people new hearts and forgiveness for their sins. Just as the Dead Sea is destined for revival, the people of Israel are also believed to be part of an ultimate restoration. In this way, Ezekiel's words not only speak to the Dead Sea, but to the future and faith of an entire people. Ezekiel's prophecies carry a profound weight in the world of biblical scholarship. Remarkably, nearly 75% of his prophecies, and around 81% of all biblical prophecies, are thought to have been fulfilled already, often with astonishing accuracy. Among these predictions, the Dead Sea's transformation remains a particularly evocative image. It's more than a physical revival. It embodies the spiritual themes of redemption and new beginnings. Ezekiel's vision foreshadows the river of life described in the book of Revelation, a river flowing from the throne of God that signifies renewal, healing, and the second coming of the Messiah. These visions highlight the concept of life emerging from death, a theme that touches not only on the state of Israel, but also on the anticipated return of the Messiah. We are, as some believe, living in a time of immense spiritual significance, with ancient prophecies coming to life in a way that suggests a pivotal turning point in history. For centuries, people viewed Ezekiel's visions as more allegorical than literal, seeing them as symbols of hope rather than future events. But today, with Israel flourishing and scientists discovering unexpected life forms even in the Dead Sea's hyper-saline environment, many are starting to wonder if Ezekiel's vision might indeed be tangible. This potential revival of the Dead Sea speaks to a greater message of hope and divine intervention. The transformation of this uniquely barren ecosystem reminds us that no situation is beyond redemption. It's a powerful statement about the potential for life to emerge from even the most desolate places, a promise that resonates with the challenges many people face in their own lives. The Dead Sea, which has long been a metaphor for desolation, could soon be known as a testament to life's resilience. In the event the Dead Sea comes back to life, what would we call it? Will the Dead Sea remain the Dead Sea, or would it finally be renamed? Share your opinion with us in the comments section. And remember to like and subscribe.